Hello, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Ellis. I miss you all so much, but I'm glad we're able to get together this way. So let's make art. Today we're going to make a color burst painting. This is one that was done earlier, and I'll tell you all about your supplies. You'll need to have your watercolors, and you'll need to have a nice soft brush. You know, the dollar store sells a package of brushes. I think they come 3 different ones in there, and it's very nice. A brush like this, well, you could use it, but it's probably a little too big. It's hard to get into those little corners. A brush like this may be a little bit too skinny, but if that's all you have, that's fine. A brush that's about this size is much better to use. So we need this. We need our watercolors. Let me move these here. We need a container with a little water in it. You don't need too much. And you need either a sponge or a folded up paper towel. I keep both there just in case. Now for your paper. Yes, it's okay to use printer paper that you would fold in half and only use half. The problem is printer paper is not very strong and you're using a lot of water, and it's easy for this paper to tear. But if that's what you have right now, then certainly we'll use that. In your supply list, I asked you to buy this pad. It's at Publix, and it is not very expensive. I was very surprised. The paper is much thicker and holds up to paint. You need 1 sheet, which you will fold in half and cut it right up the middle so that you get a half of a sheet. You'll notice this is not a big art project. It's a little bit on the smaller side. And then you need something to tape it down to. Now for the one I showed you, I used the back of this, but I found something much better later on. I had one of these whiteboards in the house, and I thought, wow, I could use that. So I took my paper. Now you need some tape. Painter's tape is really excellent for this because it sticks just enough, but not too much. You can use regular masking tape or Scotch tape, but when you pull it off, you have to be really careful. It does, however, give you a very nice border. If you don't have any tape at all, well, you could do this without the border, but it really looks nice. So if you're ready, well, we're going to take the piece, put half of it on here and half of it on the background. Press down. Same here. Remember, it's just paper with sticky stuff on it, so you should be able to tear it with your fingers. Half on the paper and half on your backboard or whatever you're using. Make sure it's long enough. Half on the paper and half on the board. And one more side. Half on the paper, half here and half here. It's like you've got a line down the middle. If it's not exact, that's okay. And don't forget, just press it down so the paint doesn't get underneath it when you're painting with watercolors. And we're ready to begin. You're going to need a small circle of some kind. It doesn't have to be very big. If you have tape like this, you could do the inside of it, which I think that's exactly what I'll do. First thing is, try and put a very small dot, very small, in the middle of your paper. Is this the middle? Nope. How about here? Nope. Here? Nope. Here? Nope. Here. Just a dot so you could see it. I don't know if you could see mine, but I kept it very light. Then take your circle and trace around it. This is kind of, I don't know about this circle. Well, I'll give it a try. Try and go around the circle. There, not too bad. Keep your pencil lines very light. You don't want them to shout, pencil line, pencil line. You want it to be very light. I'm going to have to do mine a little bit darker so you could see it, but make yours almost invisible. Now you need a ruler. Now here's what you're going to do. You're going to draw a line from your dot to this corner, your dot to this corner, to this corner, and to this corner. How do you do it? Remember, you use your hands. You use 3 fingers on the ruler, the 2 fingers in your hand on the paper. So, if you're lefty like me, see, you have to do it this way. If you're righty, I don't know how you do it, but okay, I'll try it righty. There, right from the dot to the corner. Hold the ruler still and go down very lightly. I'm going to press a little harder so you could see. Now do the other side. I have to go back to my left hand. I just can't do it with my right. Here, and here to here, here to here. Make sure you go right through your dot. Make sure corner to dot. Measure, measure, look, look, look. Corner to dot. Keep moving the ruler until you get it, then hold it still. Corner to dot. If you want to turn your board or your paper around, that's fine too. Corner to dot. Now we're going to make a line from here to here, about where the middle is, and here to here. Once again, not over here, but about where the middle is. If you want to make a mark where you think the middle is of the here, you could do that. If that helps you, by all means, you do that. Dot, dot to dot, a line, dot. I think that's about the middle. Dot to dot, here, and here, here. It's okay if it tilts a little bit. That's all right. It's okay. Good. Very good. Now you're going to draw a line to split each one of these sections in half with another line. So let's say this was the first section I did. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you want to number yours, you can, but make your numbers very light. You have to erase. From the dot through, I think it splits in half right here. Here. Whoop, my finger went over my finger, made a little bump. I think I want to erase that and straighten it out a bit. I don't want bumps in my work. Now number 2, I think, let's see, about here. Okay. Here. Number 3, I think if I split this in half, this line, it would be about here. And this is what you do for all of your sections, boys and girls. I always like to make the little mark because then I know I got it kind of in the middle. If it's not exact, that's all right. 5 is about here. 6 is about here. 7 is about here. And 8 is about here. So I still have, also the dot here makes me know that I haven't drawn the line yet, and I haven't done that section. It's a good way to, there. I just need 7. Now you'll see why I tell you to draw very lightly in a minute. Now you have to erase all your numbers and all the lines inside your circle. That's why the lighter that you draw your pencil, the easier it is to erase. Keep the circle, but get rid of the dots and the lines that go through. Get rid of your numbers. Keep your lines, but get rid of the numbers. This is called cleaning up your drawing. There. Okay. Now we are ready to paint. You have your water, your paint, and your brush. Now's the fun part of picking the colors. Remember, these watercolors need water in order to make paint. So you dip your brush in. I would suggest starting off by putting some clean water in each one of these wells in your palette. This is your palette, and each one of these is like a well. You know, where you well that holds water. There we go. Just, even if you don't intend to use the color, it's good to have it ready just in case you change your mind. Now you dip your brush in. Let's see, what color do we want to start with? I'll start with orange. You hold your brush like a pencil. Righties, you do the same thing but this side. Right at the end of this metal piece, this is called the ferrule. The ferrule right there. I'm a lefty, remember? And then you gently, you use the tip of your brush. You don't squish and mush the brush down so it looks like a bad hair day. You gently rub your brush in circles around the paint till you load up the brush. We call this loading the brush. See how much paint? It's all full on all sides. Now pick a section, whichever one you want. Not the circle though. Don't paint the circle. And you start. I like to keep this part of my hand down on the paper and rest it, and then I paint like this. If you go out of the line a little bit, well, you know, it happens sometimes. It happens. You paint on the tip of the brush, paint down towards you. You're pushing the paint down. And it's okay if it goes onto the tape. There. Now if you want to use the same color somewhere else, you can. But don't put a color right next to the one you just painted where it's wet. We don't want them to really bleed together too much. But I do think I want another orange. So I'll put an orange here. That gives me plenty of room. Right up to my outline and push the paint down. Push it down using the tip of the brush. You never paint with the part down here. Paint here. Now I think I'll stop with the orange for now. Rinse off my brush. I don't need to necessarily dry it because I'm still needing water. I think the next color I'll take would be yellow. So I'll get some. If your brush is too wet, if it's just drippy, just give a quick dab on your sponge or paper towel, just to take off a little water. Don't paint here or here because I just did that. Leave some space to dry. There we go. Pull down, pull down, pull down. Pull the paint down toward the bottom. There we go. Pull it down. Pull the paint down. I'm going to turn and I'm going to make another yellow, I think over here. Now this is a really tight area, so I'm using the tippy tip of my brush. I'm hardly even pressing. My hand is on my paper and I'm just moving this way. Tippy tippy till I get into that little squeezed up place and pull the paint down. Pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. There. Now I think I'll winch my brush off and I want red. So let's pick up some red. Once again, don't paint on either side of this. I just painted it, and I'd say give this a little more time to dry too. So I'll pick a totally different area. If you have watercolor paints with more colors than I have, oh boy, you are lucky. You have a big choice of colors. Pull it down, pull it down, pull the paint down toward you. Push the paint down using the tip of the brush. Hand is on. There we go. And that's what you do. Now pretty soon your first ones are going to be dry after you do a few more. So then you could go back in and fill in until you have this. And it's all dry. Let me just... When it's all dry, has to be totally dry, boys and girls, especially too if you're using printer paper. So you have to be patient. I'm blowing on mine a little bit just to kind of hurry things. But when you're done and it's all dry, you carefully see where you can pull up a piece of the tape. And when you pull it up, don't just go like that. Pull it off to the side. See how I'm pulling it off to the side? Over to the side. Over to the side. Once again. Can you see what a nice little frame you get around there when you use the tape? Scotch tape or regular masking tape might be harder, so you have to pull slowly. Don't pull straight across, pull it at an angle. If this was Scotch tape or regular masking tape, I hope you all have nails. I don't have nails. This is really hard for me. Instead of going like right across, pull it at an angle. I'm holding it and pulling it at an angle. And once again, you get a nice little frame around it. So please, boys and girls, paint your color first. Take a picture. Let the teacher take a picture so I can see what gorgeous artwork you're making. Bye, boys and girls. Until next time.